Okay, this is the title rack keyboard interface board from our CD100 that we fixed a while back, and it's up to something again. They just emptied the build changer, and the now it takes credits, but when you hit a selection, it doesn't play anything. It's as if it never occurred, and the error log shows nothing. While I was just poking around the CCC central computer, I undid one of the power leads to this board. This is the plus 28 and the plus 9 rail, we'll call it, and yeah, this chip here did not like that. So this is the motor driver chip for the title pages. So this has a draw on the power supply, and it's this chip right here. So we can use the keyboard at least to do some more diagnostics until we order another chip. I'm going to pull this one out of here. It's an oddball. It's a cherry semiconductor or cherry switch. I don't know what the CS stands for, but it's a 3717A stepper motor driver. So this is the culprit on this board, but it's connected with other things, and I want to check the computer to make sure it's okay still, so we can get back to the original troubleshooting. So you can see they used a number of chips here. Two different makes of chips, U1 and U2. So we have the U1 version, so what I'm going to do is, it's double layered board. They have this, in this case it's a 8.2 ohm resistor in series. They cut the cladding there at the end, and this feeds one of the motor windings or whatever, just a little buffer or whatnot. That tests about 10 ohms. It's just in range, a little high, but it's not uncommon. So I'm going to take my dikes, I'm going to cut this chip out of here and then remove the legs, either by wick or a combination of solder sucker.
Okay,
both.
Extremely difficult to clean these holes out
without damaging the board, but there we have. I didn't use the wick. Let me get some more focus here. I didn't use the wick. Basically used the solder sucker and a little wick. There's the bottom. There's the top side. So those holes are open. Okay, as you can see. I may socket this. Okay, so see, these holes are plated through. There's actual plating. And see if I can get you some focus here. Actual plating on the insides of each of those holes. And it's a dual layer board, but some boards can have multiple layers, so you have to be real careful not to ruin the plated through holes. And these are still all plated. I've checked them. I did rummage around the shop and I found some new old stock IC sockets. Not a fan of sockets that can cause trouble themselves, but this is not RF or anything, it's only motor. But the heatsink goes through the board, is the heatsink, so I may not. It will be difficult to take this out if that chip doesn't work. I think I may just skip the socket for now. It's there's a few pins here that are the actual ground, the heat sink for the chip, because it is a motor drive. I think 1 amp, so I may hold off on the sockets on this application because you want the heat from the legs to go right to the solder pads there. So you know, over to sink the device, that's how they cool it. You can always stick something on top, so we'll go with the factory board mount.
Okay, here we are with the board back in the machine, in its housing in the machine, and without that chip in there, we're not going to have a title. Not going to have a title board pages, but at least we'll be able to see if it interfaces with the computer. All I did was disconnect its power, I imagine. I undid one of these here. like so, and it just immediately, we lost the plus 28 and the plus 9 off the main power supply down below. And whenever I hook this back up, it would draw, that LED would go dim and just suck the life out of the plus 28. The power supply lights I'm referring to are the ones right there on the power supply. Those, one in the middle is AC, that one stayed on, but the plus 8 and the plus 28, the plus 28 they would dim, the plus 28 would dim way down. And I guess that is, this is the new style power supply in here, because it has the CD Pro 2. So I guess that is supposedly plus 9 now. And maybe 28 is still 28. In any event, I'll show you what it's doing. This is the motor that chip controls bidirectionally. Little changer's ready. Oh, we don't have any power there, see? It's still out. It's out again. This is bizarre because now the 28 and the 8 is back. Of course, I have it no load. And it's not a switcher, so it just has regulators. So that's AC off, the capacitor's discharged. Something is killing that 28 volts. Let's take a look. And with that chip disconnected in here, that's no longer the issue. So what is? Time for the schematic. Okay, we're back on, but I've disconnected the display. This is the keyboard, that's the display. I've added this back in. I'm going to add each of these back in until I find the offender. And it's not that one. It's not that one. The last one, and it's not that one. So that means back up to the title page, the display here. No, that is okay. Can't see if there's an LED there. Yes, there is. That's strange as anything. This is a strange. So now it's back operating. Still has our credits that we put in prior. I don't have the lights on, that's why we're not seeing any lights, but I should be able to pick, I'll show you what it's doing. It's got credits on it. And that computer control is still suspect because I don't hear any clicking down there. Let's put the light back on here. I don't have the amplifier in and I don't have the bill changer on, but that's not the issue right now. Plug our lights in. Okay. Now, as I said, the chip is out. So We have no loading down of the power supply any longer. No system board error. Yet if I try to play a tune, now we're back to the original symptoms here. I know we won't have any title pages, that's fine. I'm almost thinking whether or not I want to do a default on the CCC. But I don't have the build changer, like I said, that's not necessary at the moment. If I attempt to play a selection, 0505, it takes the credit. There's no action. 0605, it will take the credits, no action. I don't know what reinitializing the defaulting the computer will do, if that will erase all the disk settings or not. There's definitely something awry with someone. The mechanism interface should be fine. We're going to have to take the parts machine and see. We're going to change this before I change out that. That'll be our next step. So I think we'll stop here. I don't need the amplifier or the build changer right now. I could put the build changer in, or the bill acceptor. I keep calling it the build changer. There's our bill. This is where it all began. When you would put a bill in, you would hear some clicking, but I don't recall where the clicking came from. It sounded like it came from the bill changer. It sounded like it came from the coin box. I don't know. I've checked all those connections there. This is where we're going to leave it. I was asked to check the connections here, but everyone's fine. These are the original connectors we're not using because this has been upgraded. I don't see any broken wires. Well, that pin there, that red one could be pushed back a little bit, I guess. I don't know, I'll check these out here. Yeah, that red pin is pushed back. Okay, although I did find that number 5, that pin, to be pulled back, it was out of its socket, or out of its, it wasn't making a full connection, so that could very well be true, but here's the next test. I'm going to leave it in mid-play, like when it initializes, it should go back to home. Let's try that. Okay, well, it is. Let's see, where's that clicking? The clicking is the money. No disc there. Sounds promising. Well, it is trying to play 05. It's remembered what I told it to play, but there is no disc 5, so let's cancel that. Maybe cancel only works in service mode, I'm not sure. It's going to try again. Well, the customer may have let us into what the problem was. He said it was fine until he emptied the bill changer. Check the bill changer pins. And I did. we go. Mind you, the amplifier is not on. It's going to play. Yee-haw for that. There's our clicking. Boy, clicking's really counting up there. Maybe it's a little out of time here. I hope it stops soon. 30, 40, 50, 60. Maybe it's got a lot of memory to do. Let's plug the amplifier in while we're waiting. I don't like the constant clicking, but try the volume here. I'm not in love with the counter clicking off continuously. Maybe it's making up. We'll let this play a little bit. Okay. It stopped clicking by the end of the song. Let's see if it's displaying what track is playing. Oh, thank heavens, I think we've got it. Now we just have to repair that title card and wait for that chip to come in, and
It'll be golden.
we'll borrow one in the meantime. Okay, that'll do it for the CD100C part revisit. It was this red pin was out of the Molex. I know this isn't Molex, but you get the idea. It had pulled back. It's kind of taut. So, if you interview the customer, they typically can lead you to the right prognosis. They'll lead you right to the issue, even though they're unaware of what's causing it. Okay, thanks for watching. We're driving blind. Like I say, we have no title pages. But if you just want to pick something, if you memorize all the discs, you'll be all set. 7704 should be Weezer. And there she goes. And okay. That's bizarre how that chip shorted like that.